Hey guys, welcome to our daily credit scope. Hope you're all doing well. It is rainy here in Orange County. We've had like a ton of rain, which is wonderful because we've been in a drought.
And some hail.
And some hail. Yeah, definitely. Yeah, it's been a lot of fun. Hey, caregiver, what's going on? Hey, Charlize. Hey, Eric. Thanks so much for joining. So today we're talking all about emergency funds, how to prepare for emergencies, and here in Orange County with all the rain, the flooding. I broke my knee. Christina had flooding in her car.
Yeah, my car got completely total loss because of a flood.
So we got out today talking about financial emergencies, how to prepare for them, and so if you have any questions, please go ahead and post them here. Also, if you have an emergency fund, I'd love to see hearts. If you've saved up money, if you have some money prepared for emergencies, I'd love to see some hearts from you. And if you think that this broadcast would be helpful for others, for your friends, please feel free to share it out because we're going to give you 7 tips, 7 things you can do to financially prepare yourself for an emergency.
Yes, and we've always heard the term prepare for the unexpected, expect the unexpected. And a lot of people don't do it financially, but right now, if you are in a place where you can prepare for the unexpected, this scope is especially for you because we want to help you get there so that in the case that you do encounter a financial emergency, you're ready for it.
Hey, what's up, Eric? Thanks so much for joining. And by the way, if you have questions along the way, feel free to post your questions. This is the dialogue with you. Thank you guys for your hearts. Thank you for your shares. So, Christina, let's get into it.
Yes.
And also, Nicky is here. Hey.
Hi.
So let's go ahead and get into it. So we have a chart here. And Christina, let's go over the very first one about building up an emergency fund. And really the importance, of having an emergency fund.
Yeah, so your emergency fund is essential. It should be a part of your savings plan. When you get paid, you put money into that emergency fund, and that just helps you out in the event that you do have some health situation or car breaks down. You have some money in reserves, and this is different from your savings account. A lot of people confuse a savings account with an emergency fund. You should always be saving, but an emergency account is just for those emergencies. So you don't want to dip into it if you have to pay a bill or something. You want this just to be for emergencies. And one tip I have is I started an online fund, and it actually yields 1%. So for all the money that I put into it, I get a little bit more back than I would in my bank. It's not as easy to access, so I can save it for those times when I have an emergency. I don't just transfer it over to my checking account. So that for me is very helpful because I'm the kind of person that if the money's there, I might dip into it.
Yeah, I would love to hear from you. If you have an emergency fund, I would love to know what you've done to save money because it can be very, very difficult, especially when you're living paycheck to paycheck.
Yeah.
I mean, how are you going to build up an emergency fund? So if you have done it, please in your comments let us know what you've done to secretly stash away cash. One of my friends, the way he built up his emergency fund was simply taking the change out of his pocket every single day and putting it into a shoebox. And he called it the shoebox fund. And he literally just put his change in there every single day. And over the course of a couple months, he built up some money that he could then stash away for emergencies. Because you never know when an emergency is going to come, right? That's the reason why we call it an emergency fund.
Yeah.
So it's something we don't touch. It's only for those times where the sink breaks. Like we just had a sink issue. We have to have our whole place repiped because of leaks on our place. And then I broke my knee. I mean, you just never know when an emergency is going to come. So having money set aside, and how much money should you set aside is really going to be up to you, like what you feel comfortable with, right? So you want to have money set aside so you feel comfortable and not anxious in case an emergency comes up. Let's see, I had an emergency in a credit union where I put over change in there monthly. That is awesome. That is a great strategy. Yeah, I mean, whatever it takes to really build up your emergency fund and then not tapping into it because it can be really tempting when you save up that money to want to get into that fund, but the whole point of an emergency fund is it's set aside to help you reduce anxiety and stress for when those random things come up, like when you need crutches like Mike.
Yeah. So a lot of people say that you should have 3 to 6, or actually 3 to 12 months of savings in your emergency fund. And I know that can seem really daunting, but if you just start with a small goal of getting $100 in there, and then move up to your next $100, and then eventually move up to like $500, and then just keep going, you'll see that start to build, and then that'll just motivate you to keep putting money in that fund. So I know it seems daunting to save 3, 6, or even 12 months of finances, but just start small and then just keep building it.
That's right. I mean, even if you just set a little goal for yourself. Well, I'm going to save up $100. Like, set your first goal. Then once you hit that goal, set your second goal. I'm going to save up another $100, and just keep tapping it away until you build the fund that you want. And I love the different strategies people are mentioning about putting that money into a special type of fund that you can't touch online. Oh, that's so beautiful to see someone just said that they have not built an emergency fund, but they're going to start today.
Yes.
So hearts for you, hearts for you. That's what this is all about. Look, just set up a goal for what you want to achieve. Maybe it's $100, maybe it's $20, whatever it is. Just set your goal for weekly to start building up that emergency fund. And look, we're all in this together. Like we all have emergency funds. We're all trying to build them up. So you're not alone. It's just key to start it up, especially if you're living paycheck to paycheck. Put it in a shoebox, put it in an online account, whatever it takes to set that goal up.
Yes.
Okay, so number 2, tackling your debt now.
Yeah.
I think that's really helpful, Christina, especially when emergencies come up, like you have those bills still coming in.
Yeah.
Right?
Everything is compounded by your debt.
Right.
So you start to feel kind of, sorry guys, we're trying to share this, but when you have debt, everything just gets compounded when you're in an emergency situation. So by tackling your debt when everything right now is going smoothly, that's what we highly recommend, because you don't want to get in a situation where now you have an extra bill on top of the debt that you already have. So if you can tackle that debt now, definitely do that.
Yeah, number 3, tracking your credit. I mean, that's always something that we should always be doing, right? We always talk about, I mean, obviously, we're Experian, we're a credit bureau. We always talk about the importance of knowing what's on your credit report, disputing anything that's not correct. Hey, what's up? What is it? Sad and fat. I'm sorry, I can't read your name. Need to get some glasses here. So we always talk about the importance of really checking your credit report, and you can always go to annualcreditreport.com to get your free credit report from all 3 bureaus. And I think it's really important to note that you have 3 credit reports. All of us do. So every single year, we should always be checking in on all of our credit reports. And yes, there's lots of great services out there where you can get your free credit reports. Just make sure that you get annualcreditreport.com is the government site where you can go to get all 3. So generally what I do, like in January, I'll get my Experian report, and then like April, May, I'll get my TransUnion report, and then around September, I'll get my Equifax report. So every 4 months, you're getting a new report, checking in, making sure everything is accurate. If something is not accurate, you can immediately go and dispute it with the lender and also with the bureau. And Experian, you can go to experian.com/dispute.
Yes, all 3 can be different. And another reason just to check your credit report is because in the event of emergency, if you don't have the savings fund ready and you need to resort to credit, you want to make sure that you can get the credit that you need at the best possible interest rate. Yep. So by checking your credit, by monitoring it regularly, you'll know that when it's time for you to maybe access credit, that you'll have everything ready. It'll be very easy for you. You don't have to worry about it. So especially I'm going to mention in the next one for my car, I had to get a completely new car, and I wasn't stressed out because I knew my credit was going to be okay to get a good enough interest rate so that I won't have a huge bill. So that's why you want to make sure you're always tracking your credit too.
Yeah, that's a really good advice, Christina. Okay, number 4 is about contributing to health savings account or flex spending accounts. I mean, not all companies offer this, but if you have a company that you work for that offers flexible spending plans, that's always a great thing to do because of the case of emergency. And for a lot of states, that money will actually roll over. So if you don't use all the money in your flexible spending account, it'll actually roll over to the next year. I end up using it up every single year.
Yeah.
Because I have kids, like we're always at the doctor's office, like I just had surgery. So I feel like we're always using it all up, but it's always nice to have that money set aside in your flexible spending account in case of a health emergency. Okay, number 5 is about insuring yourself. Christina, this is huge, right? Right?
Yeah.
Do you want to talk about this?
Yeah, so, okay.
Yeah.
For the insuring yourself thing, I'll just share a quick story. In December, the weekend before Christmas, I was about to drive to work, and then we had flooding in our area. And so I hit one of the flooded streets, and my car completely stalled out. Well, the water damaged my engine and it made my car irreparable. So my insurance company, thankfully I have comprehensive insurance, and so my insurance company actually took care of my car. And that was a huge relief, because as I was experiencing it, I was completely stressed out. But then my husband told me, hey, don't worry, we have comprehensive, and it actually covers flood damage. So insuring yourself is vital because it can save you from serious headaches. So for me, my insurance company took care of my car, and then I was able to go out the next weekend and get the car that I needed to at the rate that I wanted.
And let me just share also the opposite is this is really good advice about insuring yourself. Like, I didn't take this advice personally a year ago, and my garage got broken into, and my bikes were stolen. And so my bike got stolen twice. And so, I filed police reports, but nothing was covered because I'm a renter, and I never got renter's insurance. Had I gotten renter's insurance, I would have been covered. But I didn't do that, and so I ended up having to pay money for a brand new bike. So I definitely want to encourage you, if you're a renter like me, definitely get renter's insurance. I mean, it's really, really cheap. And if you're a homeowner, definitely have homeowner's insurance. I think you have to by law. But if you're a renter, if you want to, if someone breaks in, you want to make sure that you're protected, that you can go and buy that TV set or buy that bike or whatever it is that got stolen and be covered.
No.
We were renting a house and had a flood. Yeah, I mean, you just never know what type of emergencies are going to come up. And so hopefully you can contact your landlord and get some help out there, and they're covered there. But yeah, having insurance, renter's insurance is definitely very, very valuable. And I'm really glad to hear you have renter's insurance. See, I didn't have it, and so when my bike got stolen out of the garage, I was really, really bummed.
Yeah, and Nikki has actually a list of some types of insurance.
Yeah, so I have some examples of insurance, like car insurance, home insurance, health insurance, car insurance, and disability insurance. They all come in handy in an emergency. I have car insurance, so when I got into an accident last year, I was thankfully covered, and a car hit me, and they just left, so it was a hit and run.
Oh no!
Yeah, so thank God that because I had car insurance, I was able to fix the bump that they did on my car.
Yeah.
So having that relieves you from stress and in these type of situations. So yeah, and then recently, actually, all my tires, I realized they were all bald.
Yeah.
And so I had to get all new tires, and because I had some money saved, I was able to pay them, and that was like $400.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's when emergency funds come completely in handy.
Yeah, exactly. Okay, number 6 is protecting your important financial and personal documents. I saw someone here mention about having a safe. Yeah, keeping those financial documents in a place that's going to be protected, where you know where it's at. You might even keep it at a relative's house, or keep duplicates at a relative's house in case of emergencies, like a fire or something like that.
Yeah. Especially now, since there's a lot of flood.
Yeah, a lot of flooding.
A lot of people keep their important documents in the garage, on the floor, like in boxes, and all that stuff can easily be damaged by floods. So yeah, exactly.
You just have to make sure that it's protected and keep keeping those documents maybe in another location, maybe at a best friend's house also, in a safe and secure spot, so that in case your house gets damaged, you have those documents at another place as well.
Yeah, and then also it should be something that you can easily grab and go. So if you've got it in if you have it in a big file cabinet, make sure you have it actually in a smaller box, because trying to carry that file cabinet is going to be really hard. So just have a grab-and-go box that you can take.
Yeah. Okay, the last tip here is keep a small cash reserve at home. You want to talk a little bit about this, Christina?
Yeah, so this is actually, this is a new one for me. I was doing some research on ways to be prepared for a financial emergency, and they said have a cash reserve at home, and I was like, what? I don't ever keep cash at home. But if all of your power goes out, if for some reason there's a mass power outage, you can't access your bank, you need to buy things, maybe you have severe weather conditions and you live far away from your local bank, having a cash reserve at home will help you get through that emergency until the power comes back. So keep, a few $100s if you can. I know we're telling you a lot about saving an emergency fund, have a cash reserve, pay for this, pay for that. And if you're living paycheck to paycheck, it can feel kind of overwhelming.
Right.
But again, just start small, even if it's just $40, $20, you know, just $10 that you put aside from every paycheck just at home, then that can help you in the case of an emergency.
That's right.
Yeah, definitely.
I like the comment here from Makisha about slowly building up your emergency fund. That's what it's all about.
And emergency funds are not for vacations.
That's
you
right.
know,
That's right.
They're not for luxury clothing or, you know, they're stuff for specifically for emergencies. So
That's right.
That's something to keep in mind when, you know, there's other things that are very tempting that you want to buy and do. But, you know, I think emergencies are always inevitable. Like, they will happen.
That's right.
Yeah, and
So,
then,
Just when.
yeah,
Just
and
when.
last week because I was pretty surprised about that cash reserve. I was asking Nikki if she keeps a cash reserve, and you want to tell them about your car?
Oh, yeah,
yeah.
So I usually don't keep cash at home, but I always keep cash in my car because you never know when you need to go, you know, pay for parking and that usually only accept cash.
Yeah.
Or, you know,
leave your wallet at home.
You leave your wallet at home, and so you have cash in my car. Or, you know, sometimes I like to just, you know, have it just, you know, feel safer.
Right.
You just never know.
Right.
Stuff, so.
Just gotta hide it.
Yeah, hide it. Yeah, it's definitely not a lot of cash. It's just, you know, something like $20 or something like that. Something not a huge amount.
Right.
But something small, so I at least have some cash on me.
Yeah, because there's been times where I've been driving around and I forgot my wallet at home, and I'm like, I'm always running out of gas. Like, I'm always low on gas. I'm terrible. And so one time I was going down to San Diego, which is like an hour from here, and I'm like middle of my drive, and I look at my gauge, and it's like almost empty.
Oh no!
And I'm like, I gotta get gas, and I realized I don't have my wallet with me, and I was like, oh, you gotta be kidding me. And so thankfully, I found like Apple Pay, and I got my credit card through my wife, so I was able to sign up through Apple Pay.
Oh
and then I found out that I ended up using like the Apple Wallet to end up paying for gas at like Chevron, and then getting food at McDonald's.
Man, thank goodness for technology.
For technology. So I just want to give that tip. If you ever run out of money or you forget your wallet, you can use your Apple, wallet or whatever, and like Chevron, I think, was a gas station, and then like McDonald's always takes those wallet services.
Yeah, it's funny. Recently, I saw some. I think I was watching Jimmy Kimmel, or I don't know what talk show I was watching, but Will Smith actually just recently he was at a gas station and he didn't have his wallet on him.
Oh.
So he had to ask a complete stranger for money.
Oh,
Will Smith.
Yeah, Will Smith. Yeah.
Imagine Will Smith asking you for money. Like, are you kidding me?
Yeah, so he had
The Fresh Prince?
Yeah, so he asked this guy, and he's like, I promise I'll pay you back. And the guy was like, no, it's fine. So he had to ask a complete stranger for money. It was so funny.
That is really funny. That's awesome. Well, guys, thank you so much for being part of our daily Credit Scope. Tomorrow, Rod Griffin, who's our Director of Public Education, will be here live. So if you have any questions about your credit reports, credit scores, join Rod tomorrow at 2:30 Eastern. And then on Wednesday, we'll be back at 3 p.m. Eastern for our credit chat. You want to talk a little bit about credit chat, Christina?
Yep. So, guys, this, as always, on Monday, we kind of prepare you for the Wednesday's topic. So this week we're talking about ways to prepare financially for an emergency. So we're going to have a lot of great tips from our credit chat community, and you can join us. You can learn about it at ex.pn/creditchat, or if you want to go to the direct link, it's ex.pn/prepare.
Awesome, guys. Thank you so much for being part of today's chat.
Yes, and if you found any of this information useful, please be sure to share it. And if you're watching the replay, we hope you enjoy it. Tweet us, let us know what you think. Let us know what your emergency tips are. And definitely join us on Wednesday for our credit chat.
Awesome. Thanks, guys.
Okay.